Hi, okay, I am Mohammed Shuja, and this is a quick how-to demo video where I'm going to show you how to resize your boot volume of your compute, Windows-based compute instance in Oracle OCI. We call it Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So before showing you that in action, let me quickly give you a background info on how am I going to do this. So here is a scenario. Excuse me. You have a Windows 2019 server standard compute instance running on OCI Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and you need to increase its boot volume capacity from 47 GB, which generally comes by default when you create a Windows-based instance in OCI. Um, Of course, unless you have chosen a custom boot volume option during the time of creation. So what you need to do is you want to increase that capacity from 47 GB to 147 GB, meaning you want to add another 100 GB. So yeah, you can do that in OCI. It's not only very easy, but you can even do it online as well. Meaning you don't even have to shut down your Windows instance. You can do it while the applications are running, and and yeah, obviously once you have created an Windows instance, you can still resize its capacity. But when I say increase, OCI does not allow you to decrease the size of your boot volume later on. So make sure you add the capacity that you need, because otherwise later you won't be able to reduce it back. And obviously this is based on our block volume storage cost option. Um, Another thing I should mention here is that as the name says, it's a boot volume, so it should be used only for the boot volume related data, meaning operating system and its related files. The idea is, the point I want to make is you should not use it for your user data, for your any application or database or anything like that. It's just not a best practice. Otherwise, you will end up creating a single point of failure. So the steps, high level steps are, I'm going to take a backup first, just a best practice before making any big changes to your boot volume, which is a critical thing for your compute instance. And then as a second step, I'll show you how through the OCI console itself, I'm going to increase the size of boot volume attached to this compute instance, and then we go back to the Windows instance, and then have to rescan the available space. And then the last step is need to extend the boot partition in Windows using the disk management tool that comes in Windows. So yeah, without further ado, let me show you that in action. Let's go back to my account. I am already logged in. Let's go to compute and instances. And there should be a lot of windows. Let's use this one. This is Windows instance. Okay. And then what you need to do is before doing anything like this, because you are tweaking something with the volume, the storage, which is very critical, which is operating system partition. So ideally you should take a backup of that instance before doing this step. So how do you do that? You go to boot volume for this instance. You go into the details of that boot volume, and then you scroll down and look at the left option. You see boot volume backups, and then you create a boot volume backup and you name it before resize. and you do full backup. Don't need to do incremental backup. So this will take a short while. Another thing you can ideally should be doing is you should have a backup policy as well implemented. By default is none. So ideally should at least at the bare minimum use the bronze automatic backup, incremental, weekly, monthly, and yearly backup kind of thing. So anything, if anything goes wrong, you have something to restore back to. Okay, by the time it is taking backup, let me pause the video. By the time I hit pause video, it was already done. So backup is done. As you can see, the state is available. You go back uh, to the instance, and let me show you the steps as well. I forgot. You go to Google and you write Oracle Cloud OCI compute instance resize. Um, compute instance resize. Resizing the volume. This is the document that you should refer to for all the detailed steps. So this is talking about all the steps for resizing any volume, including block volume. So you can read that up for the required privileges. What we are going to do is only this one. So you can refer to this resizing a boot volume for a Windows instance. So you click on that. It's a fairly simple thing. Through the console, you can resize. And once you resize from the console, you need to go back to your operating system, your instance, Windows, which is in our case, and you need to rescan the disk and extend the partition. So that is also very simple. I'm going to show you. So once the backup is done, we go back to our instance and we hit on, sorry, go back to the boot volume again. And what we need to do is change the capacity, change the configuration of that boot volume. For like I said, it's 47 by default. You can change it to any, obviously higher, because you cannot reduce that. Say, for example, I want to do it 147. I want to add 100 GB. So similarly, you can see that you can also increase the volume performance as well. If you have a requirement, this is by default set as a balance, which is good enough for most of the application. If you need something for database, or you need some file sharing with a high IOPS requirement, you can simply increase that here as well and get this thing changed. And here you can set up the automatic backup policy as well. So we are now only concerned about adding storage. We added 100 and you hit save. So it is again guiding you with the document steps for getting this everything done. Once this is configured in the console, you need to follow the two-step scan disk and extend partition. You can follow the link as well with the detailed steps on how do you do it in Windows. So it's already done. It's fairly fast. And as I don't know if you've noticed, I was referring to this document online resizing, meaning everything is done online. As you can see, I did not stop the instance. I did not remove, detach the boot volume and increase and nothing like that. So Windows was running, everything was running, application, whatever you have in that instance is running, everything is running while I am making this resize operation. So that is done. Let me connect to that instance and let me show you from the Explorer how much the capacity we have. So as you see, is 46 GB, and there is no other partition because it's a fresh blank instance. So there is no other partition, there is no other drive, there is no other the block volume I've added as well. So this is running completely on the core boot volume, which has a capacity of roughly 47 GB. So what we need to do, we have already added. Why is it not showing? So we need to do some configuration. So you go to Windows Administrator Tools, and then you open Computer Management. And then you look for Disk Management. And here you can clearly see that we have our added partition, added capacity 100 GB is already visible. We don't even have to rescan. I think once you start this disk management, it does a rescan automatic as well. So it's already visible, and you can see this is our boot partition, which has a drive assigned and is formatted as NTFS. So all you need to do is NTFS supports extension. So all you need to do is right click on this partition and select extend volume. So click on next. This is the standard wizard, and it's already allocated the complete space available right next to this partition. So we just go with the default and finish. So it will add 100 GB into, is actually added, so obviously won't take very long. So we can verify that from the Windows Explorer as well. We hit refresh and we see our added space has been already available for our use. Whatever we want to do is 146 GB. So that's all. So in summary, using OCI console, we managed to easily increase the size of boot volume of our existing Windows instance from 47 GB to 147 GB with no downtime. So I hope this video was useful. Okay, thank you.